Good evening, my name is Liam Thorpe.
And my name is Michael Mambo.
Welcome to Team Talk. It's your Friday edition of football fun, everything you need to know, including a little look at a certain game that happened in midweek. Here's how it unfolded. There you have it. Now, whether you think it was fair or unfair, Manchester United are out of the Champions League, losing 3-2 on aggregate, 2-1 on the night to Real Madrid. Real Madrid, of course, progress now to the quarter-finals, and it was that boy Ronaldo who scored the winner. But of course, Mike, only after a controversial decision to send Nani off. Almost everyone's had their say on it this week. What's your take on it?
Well, I don't think it was controversial at all. It was obviously a dangerous challenge, which resulted in him getting a red card.
But if you look at the laws of the game, it says it has to be reckless and with intent. There's absolutely no intent there. If you see Nani, he's not looking at the ball, he's trying to control the ball. Yes, I appreciate his foot was a bit high. At best, a yellow card.
At best, a red card. Simply because, look, you cannot do a kung fu kick or during a match and expect yourself to have all that space to yourself. Ultimately, there's going to be a player within your vicinity challenging for the same ball.
But that's talking to rule out all types of control like that. If you look at a player like Dimitar Berbatov, I always see him in the air, flying in the air with his foot outstretched, ready to control the ball. You know, that's a part of the game.
It's a difference when you mentioned Berbatov, because he'll be like up in the air and his foot is like this, yeah, so that the ball lands on the laces and he more or less like softens the drop. Whereas with this one, the kick was like that. So how are you controlling the ball with your leg like that?
Because the ball's in the air, the ball's come flying through the air, he's trying to control it and then launch an attack.
No, he didn't even touch the ball.
No, he didn't, because Arbeloa runs into him at pace and he gets himself in the way. It's a clash, it's a coming together, and yes, it was a foul, but it was a complete accident. And I think if you look at all the players, Real Madrid players, Man United players, they're all shocked by the red card decision. Nobody expected that decision.
Yeah, they were shocked because Real Madrid said, yes, we've won it, we've won it.
But my point is they never thought it'd be a red card. You can see Alex Ferguson, he's been United manager for 25 years, and you can see from his reaction, total shock. And, you know, he's an old-timer. If there was a chance he thought that was a red, you know, he would have known it. But
this is the same coach who said Van Persie almost got killed during a match.
Right, well, that's a different story.
It's one and the same thing. Look, if the same thing had happened to Real Madrid, you wouldn't be complaining.
I wouldn't be complaining, but I would, as a football fan, say it's a harsh decision. I mean, my friends are Manchester City fans, and they were delighted to see United go out, but they still text me or messaged me saying, very harsh decision, very harsh.
The decision, when you look at the context of the match, can be viewed as harsh. it can be viewed as
well,
harsh.
it ruined the game, didn't it?
It didn't ruin the game. It was still entertaining end-to-end stuff. Did you see the Luka Modric finish?
That was good.
That was more than excellent.
Yeah, but he had that extra yard of space, as with the final goal, that extra yard of space that, you know, inevitably losing a player creates.
Look, the mark of a true champion, even when the odds are stacked against you, yeah. Many teams have gone, even Mourinho, when he was still coach at Inter, on numerous occasions they went to 10 men down, but they still managed to grind a result and win. And this was against a team like Barcelona.
I know it can be done, and in fairness, once United went to 10 men, it probably took them too long to regroup. After the 2 goals had gone in, I think you'd agree, United went for it, but it was too late by that stage.
It was too little too late, and yeah, well, I feel your pain.
I think you and Roy Keane are the only ones on that side of the fence.
Not really, because look, it's happened. The guy's been sent off. Nani. Obviously, the question marks start from why was he picked first ahead of Rooney?
Well, he played well.
Maybe it was tactical. Yes, he played well, but at the end of the day, that act, whatever kung fu kick he was trying to achieve, ruined it.
Yeah. Okay.
Even if he had a blinder of 60 minutes. But the moment he decided to go Jackie Chan on during that match, that was it.
Okay, well, you mentioned Rooney there, and that's, of course, been the big story. The story broke when Wayne Rooney, of course, star striker for Manchester United, was not picked to start for their biggest game of the season against Real Madrid. As Mike says, Alex Ferguson instead went with Van Persie, supported by Welbeck and Nani. Since that decision, the British press have gone mad, saying that, you know, Rooney's going, he's out, his relationship with Ferguson is done. Of course, Ferguson has taken his time, as he does, to respond, and he came today at a press conference and said Rooney will definitely be at United next season. There's no problems. What's your take on this, Mike? Do you think it was just tactical?
It may be tactical, but with all tabloid, especially in the UK, there's always something to a story. When you dig deeper, these guys are not just going to print something out of hearsay, or somebody who just dream like, I wonder why Rooney is not playing. Probably he and Fergie have fallen out. It may have been tactical, like Ferguson says, but obviously for them to pick up on other stuff like the friction between the two of them, that on its own may be a reality, but I don't want to speculate.
Well, speculate is the right word, really, because although you say that, if you've read some of the articles in this week's national press, there is not really any evidence to say, you know, this has happened at training or whatever. They're pretty much basing it all on the fact he wasn't picked. And in reaction to that, to those stories, Alex Ferguson has banned a number of national newspapers from today's press conference. But, you know, isn't it maybe just some sports writers seeing that decision and speculating themselves? Are you convinced there's something more to it?
Well, there is something more to it. For them, look, these are guys who put their careers on the line on a story, and they wouldn't just write a story on a hunch. Imagine, as a journalist, you just start writing on a hunch. Okay, you see Rooney and maybe Van Persie, they exchange a few words during a match, and you're like, probably something brewing there.
So what are you like?
Then you start writing a story based on that. No, these are professional people. Obviously, they have their sources who tell them what's happening. Just like before when Rooney had refused to sign the contract. And there was actually something there more than what Ferguson was willing to say. He won't come out and say, listen, me and Rooney are not getting along well. He won't get value for a player. But if you say, Rooney, we're still at the best of terms, and this is just the sheer madness that they're talking about, it's a totally different ballgame. So they have to watch what they say.
Okay, well, we may have to agree to disagree on that one, because I think some members of the British press will write almost anything just for a bit of a story, but you might be right on some levels. There might be a bit more to it. We'll have to wait and see. For now, Ferguson's line on it is There's no problem. It was just tactical. Incidentally, it did work. The tactics were working absolutely perfect until that happened.
Can I ask you what tactic? Take Rooney and take Warback. Who's the better player? Take Rooney and take Nani. Who's the better player?
It's not as simple as that. That's a very simplistic way of looking at it.
Then we can talk about the tactics all day.
That's a very simplistic way of looking at it. If you look at what Ferguson said in his press conference today, he said Welbeck is our best player in terms of being able to go forward and come and get back. He's faster than Rooney. He's much faster on the break than Rooney, and he was there to come and shackle Xabi Alonso in the middle, and he did that brilliantly. He cut off Xabi Alonso, and yet he was still able to go forward. If you look at Rooney in the first leg, he did a good job defensively, but he was nowhere going forward. Welbeck caused the goal. He hit the post. He nearly hit the post. He had chances, and he did a good job shackling Ronaldo. Nani also influential, played well.
Just because Sir Alex comes out to justify why he left out
No, I watched
Rooney.
the game. He was right.
No,
he was right.
Why he left out Rooney by saying, look, Welbeck is our best player going back and forth.
Yeah.
So is he better than Rooney?
No, absolutely not. But in this position, he is. For this game, Ferguson got that tactic right, because Welbeck was doing exactly the job he wanted and posing a threat, which Rooney didn't do in the same position.
Nani, who's barely featured all season, who was on the verge of joining Arsenal till Ferguson said, I'm not having any of it, suddenly becomes better than Rooney.
No, why are you saying it's better? It's not better than Rooney. It's more appropriate in this game and in this tactic. Again, much faster player, much better on the counter-attack. Rooney's a creative player. He drops deep, spreads it out wide, stuff like that. We weren't playing that kind of match. We were playing a soak it up, hit them on the break as fast as we can. Our fastest players up front to support the main man, Van Persie. And I think Nani and Welbeck were doing a great job at that. Doesn't mean they're better. I'm not saying they're better players.
Okay, if your whole thesis is based on speed.
Well, speed and the ability to attack and get back and forward.
Yeah, so Van Persie is faster than Rooney.
No, Van Persie is at the top. He doesn't need to be fast in this position. He's up front. He's an out-and-out goal. He's a better goal scorer. Yeah, I'll say that, and that's why he was there. He's at the top, goal scorer, there on the wings to supply him with speed and pace and creativity.
You see, you can never win with United supporters because they believe in the almighty Ferguson.
No, but I watched the game. I'm not talking about Ferguson. I'm talking about the game itself. I watched it, and he got the tactics spot on. We were winning 1-0 at home, 2-1 overall. We were in such a comfortable position through playing that way, and it only went wrong because of the red card.
Because Nani decided to do a kung fu kick during a match.
I'm not denying that. That's why it all fell apart. But up until then, he'd got it right.
Then once Nani had done that, who did Ferguson run to help salvage the situation?
Well, I always thought that was a good idea as well. If you left Rooney on the bench, get him fired up. 30 minutes left. If you need him, bring him on, and he's good in that situation. But anyway, we can talk too much about this. We could talk all day. As it happens, United are out. Real Madrid are through. Of course, that wasn't the only European action happening this week with English teams. Last night, Tottenham took on Inter Milan and very impressively beat them 3-0. And it was that man, Gareth Bale, again, scoring the first goal. But slightly marring it was the fact that he received another yellow card for diving, which is his 4th yellow card of the season for diving or simulation. The other goals came from Jan Vertonghen and Gylfi Sigurdsson. But Mike, I just want to ask you about that. Bale, probably going to win Player of the Year. He's scoring goals, he's winning games for Spurs.
Yeah.
Is he diving, or is he just, as some people say, getting out of the way because he runs so fast?
Well, I think I can't say he's diving. Probably maybe he's falling down in a certain unique way that can be said to be diving.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
And should he then be given a yellow card for that?
Well, they should tell him to change the way he falls down.
Because it is a bit dramatic, isn't it?
Well, he's always known to be dramatic. Even when he scores, he celebrates like, I don't know, whatever he's doing. Yeah, well, what's that?
It's just his heart. He loves football.
He loves football. Or maybe sending out a coded message.
But, I mean, it's an interesting one because if you're saying he's not simulating on purpose, is he not trying to win a foul, to win a free kick?
Well, when you go in and you're in that situation, many players try and do the same thing. Maybe he's not too clever in that he doesn't disguise it well enough.
But surely he doesn't need to do it, does he? He's such a good player. He does not need this part of his game at all.
No, the fact that he's doing it shows you that he's not such a good player as you think.
Well, I suppose you could say because Ronaldo was a bit known for sometimes going to ground quite easily, and if he's doing that, then I suppose all the best players might do it. But I don't know. It's quite disappointing, I suppose, and it mars another great result for Spurs.
It does. It takes away like right now we're talking about the way he fell down, which was insignificant. If you're touched or you're tackled, you can stay on your feet. Just stay on your feet. If you can't, you've been denied a goal scoring opportunity, then you're perfectly within your rights to fall down. But how you fall down doesn't have to be so dramatic as to want to buy something off the referee. I mean, you've been tackled, fair and fine. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, it actually works out quite well for Spurs because although Bale will miss the second leg in Milan, you would think with a 3-0 win they will probably qualify, and it gives him a clean record going into the next round, so we won't have any chance of being banned for that. The Inter Milan boss has already said it's going to be very hard to overturn that. It's 3-0 to Spurs, and it shows just how far Spurs have come, and I suppose how much Inter Milan have declined, because if you remember a couple of seasons back, Inter beat Spurs in that thrilling 4-3 game. To you, is that this result more about Spurs marching on or Inter falling behind?
It can be both. With Spurs having improved, obviously, with the quality of players they have. You look at Bell, you look at Vertonghen, you look at Dawson, they've all improved.
Yeah.
And they've brought in some quality players, whereas Inter, they've more or less like been where they are. And when you're high up there, all these other teams have you to look at, and whatever you're doing, they're going to try and do it better.
And if you lose players like Wesley Sneijder, then it's hard to get better, isn't it?
It's very hard to get better, and how can you not replace such a player?
Okay, so Spurs looking very good in Europe. One last bit of news, breaking news today, is that Manchester City and Argentina striker Carlos Tevez, reports are coming in that he has been arrested in Cheshire on suspicion of driving whilst disqualified. It says he's been released on police bail, and we'll bring you more on that as and when we get it. Now, to this weekend, and it's Premier League and FA Cup coming together this weekend. First of all, let's have a look at the Premier League fixtures that are going on over the weekend. So we've got Norwich versus Southampton, QPR Sunderland, Reading host Villa, and West Brom welcome the Capital One Cup champions Swansea. Newcastle entertains Stoke, and in the big game on Sunday, it's Liverpool taking on high-flying Spurs. So, Mike, I'm just going to run through those again and ask for a quick-fire prediction from you. Norwich versus Southampton.
Southampton win.
Southampton win. That would be a big win for Pochettino's side. QPR, of course, got their first win last weekend. They entertain Sunderland.
QPR win.
QPR win. Reading, fellow strugglers, entertain fellow strugglers Aston Villa.
I'm looking at Reading win.
Reading win. West Brom welcoming the victorious Swansea side. That should be a good game then.
A very good game. Swansea win.
And Newcastle versus Stoke.
Newcastle win.
And then finally, the big one, tough one to call with an informed Suarez and an informed Bale. Liverpool hosting Spurs.
I'm going for a Liverpool win on this one. Liverpool must win.
Okay, there you go. Now, it's the FA Cup as well, and Manchester United have to quickly get over the disappointment of their Champions League exit to Real Madrid, because the games don't get any easier. They host Chelsea on Sunday in a 4:30 kick-off here. That's 6:30 your time. And let's just have a look at the other FA Cup games going on. We've got Millwall versus Blackburn, two Championship sides there. Everton versus Wigan. Man City versus Barnsley, and then that big one, Manchester United versus Chelsea. Mike, how do you think United will respond to going out of the Champions League?
Well, they'll want to respond with a bang, and the best way is to dismiss Chelsea.
Now, Chelsea, just to mention, lost in Europe, in the Europa League, lost 1-0 away at Steaua Bucharest of Romania. It's still not quite going right for Rafa Benitez, but what could a win for Chelsea in this game do for him and for them?
Well, it would definitely do not much for him, because even if he's to win every last match, the fans hate him.
And he's going anyway, isn't he?
Exactly.
But you think United will have too much for Chelsea, or?
Yeah, well, United will have too much for Chelsea, and Chelsea, you have to see which Chelsea turns out. If it's going to be the champions of Europe, Chelsea, then United are in for a match. But if it's going to be the undecided, uncoordinated Chelsea, then United are going to have a good game.
And what about Wayne Rooney? Do you think he'll start?
Definitely, he will start.
Okay, and he'll hope to put pay to all those rumours of him leaving with a good performance. That's it for now. Me and Mike will be back on Monday to talk about all those games and how they went on. For now, though, have a great weekend. It's bye from Mike.
It's bye from Liam.
Take care, guys.